We seek guidance on a technical matter, miss. Might we have a word with Mr. Lloyd-Jones?
Depends on the subject and his mood. My brother enjoys company, but he's no longer involved with incendiaries. Please be brief, Mr. Holmes. He's not robust.
Thank you, miss.
I'll try to be gentle with him.
Your bungalow is charming, a shrine to your housekeeping.
Thank you. I pray it is not too wrong of me to be proud of it.
I'm sure it is not. I'm sorry we find you feeling poorly, sir.
I'm not suffering, just dying. Heard of you, haven't I? Holmes, the police agent?
The epithet is erroneous. I'm investigating a suspicious explosion. Have you had any recent callers?
No one calls on me anymore, except my health visitor.
That's right. I've warned off the unwashed that used to hang about. David's been out of that life for years.
Nearly out of life, period.
Would you answer some questions about your former speciality?
My sister's shamed by my past. I won't cause her any further pain. Please leave us alone. I've nothing to say and I'm very tired.
Okay, so the default has now reverted to look, not talk.
Very nice piano. On what terms did you purchase it?
You've mistaken your own importance if you expect an answer to that offensive question. You're finished here, Mr. Holmes.
Professor Dewar thought you might be able to help us with our inquiry.
Even a brilliant chemist may err. Decent man, Dewar, but politically naive. His work will be exploited by reckless men. He won't share in the profits, but he'll suffer the consequences of their folly.
When did you acquire the piano?
Not long ago, a present to my sister. We share a love for music.
It must have set you back a hefty sum.
Deserves diamonds, good as she is. But she must settle for a pianola. Never had time to take instruction.
You've received no visitors recently, miss?
The vicar came for tea Sunday last. He and David had a row.
That man is an idiot.
You witnessed the argument?
Of course. David receives no one when I'm at my work.
Well, he's not going to talk really until she goes to work, and that should be momentarily.
Without a lever, I fear we'll get nothing substantive from him.
Agreed. And his disposition may be further constrained by his sister's presence.
Her absence may be arranged.
I put it to you flatly, Holmes. I'll do nothing to compel her to neglect him.
Who asked you to do any such thing?
I know you, Holmes. Swear it never crossed your mind.
I will not blaspheme on command or otherwise. The woman works. I can wait for it. A very cozy bungalow, don't you think, Watson?
I do, Holmes, I do. Trim, secure, benign. I can hardly think this will be a productive destination for us.
It won't be the first time we have put a wrong foot forward in this investigation.
There we go. Apparently we don't actually have to return here to complete the game, but it's very helpful in uncovering a lot of information.
Professor Dewar believes that you know more about explosives than most scientists.
I note, if I didn't before, that brilliance and infallibility are not twins. What's your point?
Have you recently shared your vast knowledge of incendiaries with anyone?
No.
Yes, he won't talk about anything really while his sister is in the room. So the only way to actually get him to talk is when she is not here. But I'm sure you already worked that one out.
Who cares for you when Miss Lloyd-Jones is at her work?
I care for myself, in a manner of speaking. But over time, I would perish like an exposed infant without her. I'm a useless burden, of course.
I'm sure she doesn't think so. It's clear she loves you deeply.
I raised her after our pa was killed. But now she keeps me. It's a painful slog for her. Fortunately, it won't last much longer.
Do you follow radical politics, Lloyd-Jones?
My sister reads to me. I'm interested since England has become the sole haven for radicalism in Europe.
Do you preach and practice radicalism? Do not insult me by pleading your condition. There is nothing wrong with your brain.
I suppose I must thank you for the compliment. If it suits you to ferret out revolutionary materials, without a warrant I might add, go ahead. I could use a laugh.
Judging by the etchings in the kitchen, your sister approves of the monarchy.
My sister is a good but misguided woman. Her political sympathies are deplorable.
You don't share her sentiments?
Royalty, nobility, that lot is finished. They've made naught of their day. Working people won't tolerate another century of oppression.
Oh yes, we will.
I'd like to ask you some questions about a bombing, not a hypothetical one.
I must endure what I can't prevent.
You've heard the Diogenes Club in Westminster was levelled by an explosion. My brother was nearly killed in that blast.
That was no bomb, a gas leak, they said.
So the police think. But you and I know better, I think. Examination of the debris revealed your signature mixture of explosive chemicals.
I'm sorry to hear it. About your brother, that is.
May I play something for you?
No, don't. No thank you. Music drives me batty.
That's a remarkable change of tune. Your health has deteriorated since last I saw you. Can I get you anything?
Your powers of observation are only adequate. You must see that no human agency can help me.
No. I don't think that he will last much longer. We may return here in the future. Maybe it's just a blow-up piano, maybe? Or maybe not. Okay, so these banknotes are very suspicious. Possibly counterfeits. Well, I guess either way we're going to take them with us.
What is this money in the piano?
My sister's savings. She doesn't trust the bank.
All new bills? I doubt it.
You won't be surprised if I don't care whether you do or not.
And the cigars?
A visitor must have left them.
By your own admission, you have had no visitors. This packet of fivers is more than enough to ruin you.
It would be a hollow victory, but your reach exceeds your grasp. You want to extract more from your observations than you can prove.
Wrong. Now listen to me, sir. You supplied the explosive recipe to the bomber. The cigars are from him. His money bought the piano. These fivers came from him. You are not my quarry, but I will not hesitate to bring the police down on you and your sister. I will stop at nothing to punish those who tried to kill my brother.
I believe you, Holmes, and I fear you. I suspected I'd made a mistake. Now I know it. Now I must pay for it.
To whom did you sell the recipe for the bomb?
Man named Vincent. Said he wanted the recipe for some confidential business. Claimed he was a mining engineer.
Did you believe him?
I purchased the piano with what he paid for my credulity.
What can you tell me about him?
Not much. He had an educated voice, young and a bit of an accent. A strong hand, a distinctive smell. Not tobacco, but earthy, sweet and sour at the same time. He seemed earnest, bright, and in a hurry. He was no engineer.
Did he ever mention the Diogenes?
He didn't. I hope I would have said no if he'd told me his intention. But I can't say for certain. I saw an opportunity to put some money by for my sister, and I took it.
This Vincent, you saw him just the once?
Twice. A few days ago he asked me to vet an explosive he claimed was for sale. Much of it was beyond me. But I understood the formula recorded something with awesome power. Told him to talk to Dewar. He laughed at that. Told me to keep mum.
And you became suspicious?
Sure. It was proof of something dodgy if I needed more. He paid as much for information as for silence. Without you, he would have had both for £200 and a box of cigars.
I want to take this money to an expert. You may have received both more and less than you thought.
Not the real article. I wondered. You'd think with so little life left to me, I'd have at least learned that you don't get something for nothing. The cigars are real, I suppose. What can I expect from you, Holmes?
You made an error, Lord Jones. Please don't make another. If he comes to you again, get word to me. I'll leave my card.
I'm grateful. For my sister's sake, I thank you. I did not want to die in jail.
Okay, we are done. Thankfully, he's been very helpful, but I think in his condition, he's got nothing really left to lose now.
Suggestions, Watson?
He is not strong, Holmes. I'm not sure we should question him further. Might we simply examine the room? He can't have left here for weeks.
I'm sorry, Watson, you may be right, but I cannot do otherwise. He is my only lead to Mycroft's assailant. Have you moderated your views toward anarchists, Watson?
Since the Haymarket riot, I've been hard on radicals of every stripe. They're reckless agitators who stir up trouble for its own sake.
That characterization is too broad, Doctor. Like most bias, it is not without some foundation. but it is a prejudice nonetheless.
Okay, let's return to the ministry. I'm sure we can actually achieve something there now. Oh. Ah, yes, here he is.
What is the condition of the Dewar document, Mr. Whitney?
In my official capacity, I couldn't comment. Now, please leave. This room is restricted.
Do not pull your counterfeit rank with me, Whitney. If you entertain dreams of advancement, I suggest you assist me. A classified document has been moving in and out of your reading room under your nose.
I am innocent in all that. My behaviour has been above suspicion, and there is no proof that it ever left this room.
Certain senior ministers may feel differently. My brother certainly does. Is your position so strong that you're willing to run the risk? When did you last see Thomas Pratt?
It was the morning he reported the formula missing.
Did you ever see him in company? Men, women, lovers, etc.?
Once or twice, perhaps. A young man. We had no mutual friends.
Who from the ministry formed Pratt's circle of acquaintance?
He spoke occasionally to Lord Lawton and was overly familiar with the Ratchet woman. To others he was merely civil.
No enemies that you know of?
None. Now, why was he murdered?
If you truly don't know, you'll learn soon enough, Mr. Whitney.
Oh. I guess he is done with his importance at the moment. This Lord Lawton has been a very naughty boy in this game.
Touch nothing on the desk, Mr. Holmes. You should consider all this as the Queen's personal property. I am her appointed guardian. You are nobody.
Wow, that's harsh.
What is your authorization, Mr. Holmes? If you take another step into the room, you'll be charged with criminal trespass and jailed.
Is there an echo in here, Watson? This fellow needs a lesson in humility, Watson. Will you assist me?
With extraordinary pleasure, Holmes.
Now, if you please, I'd like to examine Dewar's formula.
You are not on my list, Mr. Holmes. I assure you that it is in our possession, and further, that it is in perfect condition.
Where was it discovered, and by whom?
Ah, it was located here, close by, in this room, of course. Merely misplaced, I should think.
I'm sure. I'd like to see it, handle it.
No. Threaten what you will. My minister will support me. The formula is back, if ever it left. I should think your part in this matter is at an end.
Which merely shows how little your thoughts are worth.
Well, we do have this summons.
That's quite general, isn't it?
It is specific enough for you, Mr. Whitney. I expect your cooperation, as would my brother. The formula is alleged to have disappeared from this room. May I examine the premises?
As a favour to your brother, I suppose I could allow it. But don't touch anything and don't bother the patrons. You're here on my sufferance, Mr. Holmes.
Whatever you say, Whitney.
Well, Whitney surely knows that this formula disappeared, otherwise he wouldn't even entertain the idea that it may have disappeared.
Can you imagine a connection between Pratt's murder and the theft or the return of the formula?
No.
I suspected that your imagination might not be up to it. Excuse me, sir.
No conversation permitted. Breach of protocol.
Sorry for disturbing you, I guess.
Sir, have you seen unauthorized persons in this room?
Finally, someone's come to redress that affront to decency.
Excuse me?
I was served an accommodation bill in this very chair. A demand for payment. It's an outrage. A trivial debt less than 10 years old, imagine. There's no place safe from these fellows, I ask you. Pratt let the blighter in. His job's in jeopardy. I've had assurances from the minister. Yes, indeed, assurances.
Job security is no longer among Pratt's problems. Are you aware of any special security precautions for this room?
Security? Who would want anything from here? Bunch of papers, juiced uncomfortable chairs, dowdy rugs and so on. In any case, only cads would cover what don't belong to them, not the sporting thing. We don't encourage that type here.
The man's an idiot.
But a gentleman.
Yeah, take that.
Clean up that mess, Mr. Holmes, and don't touch any other boxes.
I guess that was an attempt at rebellion. Oh. Sherlock can be a mischievous little imp sometimes. Wait, surely that will just make it worse? Oh dear. I'm guessing this is not good news.
Hello, miss. Might we speak to your brother?
He has joined the choir invisible, Mr. Holmes. I must make my way through the vale of tears alone. My desolation is beyond description.
Please accept our condolences for your loss.
Perhaps she would receive the loan you had from Lloyd Jones.
Ah, yes, right. If you wouldn't think it mean to mention money at such a time, miss, I'd like to repay the £10 I had from your brother. He mentioned specially that I was to give it to you if he was unavailable.
I told you he was a saint, Mr. Holmes.
When did you acquire the pianola, miss?
If you think it's any of your business, David bought it for me. So extravagant. He earned an honorarium reviewing plans or some such. He spent the whole amount on me. Typical.
Okay.
She's in no condition to offer information, even if she has any.
I presume she has none. Have you examined the room's effects to the extent you desired?
I believe this room has no more to tell us. The brown stain is water-based.
Is it tea or coffee?
Neither, I suspect.
Yeah, this one plays out slightly differently.
Not vegetable or animal matter. I'd wager it's an alkaline salt, and there's a hint of something bitter.
Oh, no.
Decisively bitter, but too faint to say more.
Is it my imagination, or has the stain darkened slightly?
I think you're right, Watson. I suspect potassium cyanide or thiosulfate of soda. Both are photographers' fixatives. Both are light-sensitive. I'll analyze a piece of the stain in a sulfate solution. A yellow result will show I'm on the right track.
Fine, Holmes, but please maintain the integrity of the document.
I'm not too sure how we will maintain the integrity when we're chopping it up. So we need to use a sulfate, and I believe it's the ferric sulfate that we need.
Looks like a strong solution of potassium cyanide. The proper nitrate will provide the emblematic Prussian blue.
I'm just going to try using the wrong nitrate at the moment, as I don't think that if you use the wrong item on here that it actually does anything. No, so you can't make a mistake here, really. So I guess it's a trial and error thing, maybe?
You've got the result, but what does it mean?
The formula has almost certainly been photographically copied. Our search continues.
Okay. Let's go and visit an old friend.